Hello everybody, welcome to Work Against the Grain. My name is Jeff. This is part 2 of the bar stool build. In part 1, I showed you how we made the front legs and the rear legs of the bar stools. Not much to it, some rounding over of the back edge, rounding over of the front edge. And now I wanted to take a moment to show you all how we did the side rails. Now the side rails are cut out of, again, 8/4 walnut stock, and we have this arch here. And my challenge was, how do I get the arch to be consistent across 3 bar stools? Now most of the experts will take the bandsaw, cut the arch, and then smooth out on a spindle sander for finishing. I'm not really good at the bandsaw yet, so I developed a CNC profile cutout tool path where I could take all of the pieces, put them on the CNC machine, and cut them out with pretty much consistency across all of the side rails. So in the following video, what we're going to show you is how we did the side rails and how we assembled the chair. Now as far as the seat went, we cut a piece of plywood, 3/4 inch birch plywood, and then went and got some 3-inch thick foam, put it on there, and then wrapped it with some nice suede fabric. And then of course the back just slides down onto the chair. I don't know yet what I'm going to do with the back yet, as that's still kind of in the design portion of the chair, but I'll come up with something for part 3. Anyway, enjoy part 2, how we made the side rails. Thanks again for watching Work Against the Grain, and my name is Jeff.
Okay, so the first thing that we did was we took some 8/4 walnut stock and we had to run them through a process called resawing, where you take the 8/4 stock, and here we're cutting it down from approximately 2 inches or 8/4 of an inch down to 6/4 or 1.5 inches. And you simply run the stock through the bandsaw, and here we're cutting off just a little bit over 1/2 inch or so. You want to make sure during the resaw process that you're using a blade that is at least 1/2 inch, 5/8 of an inch, depending on the size of the stock, all the way up to as large as 3/4 of an inch, or if you're doing some bigger stuff, even 1 inch thick, or excuse me, 1 inch wide blade is recommended on larger stock and larger bandsaws. But here I'm using a 5/8 blade, and again we're cutting it down to from 8 1/4 down to 6/4 stock. Now it's time for the planer, and we took the stock that we cut off from the bandsaw and ran it through the planer so that we could get it down to the thickness that we desired. The final thickness on the side rails was 1.25 inches, and then on the top outside side rails and the bottom outside side rails versus the front and back we cut or planed down to 1 3/8 inches. They were a little bigger, and then the side rails, if you will, we planed down to 1.5 inches. Then it was time for the profile cutout tool path that we talked about. I don't know why I struggle saying that. Right, on the CNC machine I was able to line up all of the side rails that had the arch and develop a tool path that we were able to cut them out so that they were all consistent. And as you can see here, the CNC machine is doing a great job of cutting the arch out absolutely perfectly so that the apex of the arch was 3/4 of an inch, and we came in 1 inch from each end. I'm sorry, 1.25 inches on each end. And this made really easy work of creating the arches. So then afterwards, after the CNC was all done here, it was really easy for me then to go over to the spindle sander, and very minimal sanding was needed. Now, it's not finish ready. I still do have some sanding to do on the entire project, but in terms of getting ready for assembly, this was absolutely perfect, made them all come out and look the same, and it made the spindle sanding process a lot easier. If you've never used the Kreg pocket hole jig, I suggest you go get one. If you do any type of assembly, this just absolutely makes the quickest work of it. You just line it up. The instructions tell you how to gauge the depth of the drill bit. You see the stop there on the drill. You line it up in the jig. You have, I use the 2 outside holes here, but you can line it up any way that you need to. The height of the jig is set with some lines on the side that tell you how thick the stock is, and just look at how perfect of a pocket hole that drills. And then we can simply take the clamp that Kreg has, and that clamp slides into one of the pocket holes and allows you to then clamp that side rail in place so that you can put one of the screws in. And as you'll see here, I clamped them up, screwed them on. There are some covers that we may show you in part 3 where you take some walnut hole covers and you cover up those holes that you see so that it absolutely looks seamless. The joint is beautiful. No, it's not a mortise and tenon, I get it, but this just made absolutely easy work of assembly. So now you've seen it. You saw part 1 was the front and the back post or legs. Part 2 here is how we developed, built, sanded, planed, and sawed and assembled with the side rails. And here you'll see me putting in a couple of the last screws, but I want to thank everybody for watching Work Against the Grain. I've really enjoyed this. As I said, I'm not really sure about the back yet. Still in the design phase. I don't know if I want to upholster that or use wood for the back. The cushions came out beautiful, but not really sure what I'm doing there. Here again is a quick shot of that Kreg jig in action. Thanks again for watching Work Against the Grain. My name is Jeff, and we'll see you for part 3.